Sangju was just a mischievous and innocent middle school girl when everything began. One day, her teacher requested to meet her parent, but Sangji panicked. Instead, she begged her brother's best friend, Duan Jiashu, to pretend to be Sang Yan. With a teasing smile, he agreed. From that moment, Sangji felt an unusual warmth around him. That night, she found herself writing his name in her notebook, blushing. As days passed, Duan Jiashu often visited the Sang family house. While Sang Yan and he spent time together, Sangju awkwardly hovered nearby. Sometimes he helped her with math problems. Sometimes he secretly bought her snacks. Whenever he teased her, reminding her not to stay up too late, she smiled under her blanket, hugging the snacks he gave. Over time, Duan Jiashu slipped into the role of an older brother. He protected her from bullies, patted her head, and encouraged her to study hard. Yet, Sangju began to realize her feelings were not just admiration. Her heart beat faster around him. She whispered to herself, "Why does my heart race only for him?" Soon, her innocent crush grew serious. She confided in her best friend about how she felt. In the library while working on homework together, their hands brushed. Sangji blushed furiously. From afar, she whispered, "Someday, I want him to look at me differently." But misunderstanding followed. One night, Sangji overheard Duan Jiashu on the phone, saying he would pick someone up later. She assumed he had a girlfriend. Heartbroken, she avoided him, cried quietly in her room, and even deleted his number. Then came the separation. After his graduation, Duan Jiashu had to leave town for work. Sangju refused to see him off. At the train station, he sighed, glancing at his phone, finding no goodbye text from her. Unseen by him, Sangji stood hidden, whispering her farewell. Years passed. Sangji entered university in Yihei, the same city where Duan Jiashu lived. On her first day, dragging her luggage across campus, she froze. Walking out of a building was Duan Jiashu, older and more mature. Their eyes met. He smiled gently. "Sangji, you've grown up." Their reunion was awkward but warm. At a cafe, they caught up on old times. She tried to act mature but couldn't hide her childish side. He teased, still as clumsy as before. Slowly, Sangji discovered he carried heavy family burdens, financial struggles, and responsibilities. She vowed silently, "This time, I'll stay by his side." Old feelings began to return. He helped her settle into university life, while she encouraged him late at night, bringing him food during his work. They laughed together like before. Slowly, Duan Jiashu looked at her differently. Watching her study under a lamp, he whispered, "She's not a kid anymore." The seeds of love rekindled. One rainy night, Sangji brought food to his office. He thanked her with eyes full of warmth, lingering on her more than usual. But her brother, Sang Yan, noticed and warned her, "Don't get too close to him." Even so, Duan Jiashu's heart was already shaken. Watching her leave in the rain, he reached out his umbrella. In that moment, he knew his feelings had begun to change.
As Sangji and Duan Jiashu grew closer, their bond began to change. What was once a playful, protective friendship now carried unspoken tension, moments of silence, glances that lingered too long, and emotions neither dared to voice. Sangji's heart was clear. She still loved him. But for Duan Jiashu, it was a battle within. He told himself she was too young, that she deserved someone without a heavy past. Yet, every time she smiled, every time she stood by him, his walls crumbled a little more. Slowly, his affection slipped through in subtle ways. He began walking her back to her dorm, waiting for her in the rain, and worrying about her well-being more than his own. For Sangji, these moments felt like hope. But challenges came quickly. Sang Yan, her protective brother, discovered their closeness. He confronted Duan Jiashu, warning him to stay away. To her family, Sangji was still their little girl, and the idea of her loving an older man with a complicated background was frightening. Duan Jiashu nearly stepped back, ready to sacrifice his feelings for her happiness. But Sangji, no longer a timid teenager, stood her ground. She told her family, "I'm not a child anymore. I know what I want, and I choose him." Her determination shook even Duan Jiashu. For years, he had carried the weight of his broken family, debts, lawsuits, endless struggles. He never believed he deserved to be loved so fiercely. Yet Sangju never wavered. She gave him warmth where he only knew coldness. She gave him hope where he only knew loss. Finally, he could no longer hold back. One night, under the city lights, he confessed, with a trembling but resolute heart, "You loved me first, Sangji. But now, I love you harder. I don't ever want to let you go." With those words, their story transformed. From that moment, they faced the world not as individuals, but as partners. They tackled his family troubles together, leaned on each other in times of weakness, and shared joy in even the smallest moments. Their relationship was not defined by dramatic fights or endless misunderstandings, but by communication, patience, and trust. Sangju grew into a woman who could protect the man she loved, and Duan Jiashu became a man who finally allowed himself to be vulnerable. The disapproval around them softened. Sangji's family, seeing her happiness and strength, slowly accepted their bond. Even Sang Yan, once fiercely opposed, realized his sister had found the one person who would never let her feel alone. Through every storm, through every obstacle, their love only deepened. And so, what began as a schoolgirl's crush on her brother's best friend blossomed into a lifelong partnership. A love that healed wounds, bridged years, and stood unshaken against the odds. This is how Sang-ji and Duan Jiashu's journey ends, not with a fleeting romance, but with a promise of forever. A story where she fell first, but he fell harder. A story of hidden love,